welcome to Girls Can Do Anything, the show that just encourages girls to give it a crack. Today we're going to paint some gloss doors and window frames. So I'm going to just run through a few tips and tricks. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off handles and knobs and things like that. Alright, so before we start painting, you need to give everything a sand back. So we want it to just get a little bit roughed up so that the paint sticks to it. So something like an 80 grit sandpaper. So all sandpapers have a number on the back. The lower the number, the thicker the grit, or the grittier it is. You can get like a proper sanding block, or just a piece of wood does it just as well. And we're just going to give it a good sand to scratch it up. Or when you get to your doors, rather than just using your hand, you always use your sander. We're just about ready to paint. We've sanded off the doors and we've given it a quick wipe over with a damp cloth just to get all the dust off, help the paint stick. So the paint that I like to use is this stuff. It's a gloss, but it's a water-based gloss, so you don't need to worry about terps cleaning up. The type of roller that you would use is what they call a short nap roller. So you can see there, it's not very thick. Like this is a medium nap roller. You can see it's a lot fluffier. That's what you use for walls. Typically the gloss paint is a lot thinner than your wall paints, so if you were using something like that, you'd be flicking it everywhere. So you just use a short nap roller. And it's really important with your brushes, like when you do your windowsills, buy a half decent brush. You don't have to get the top of the line, but certainly don't buy the cheap ones. The bristles will come out and stick in your paint. You'll have big streak lines because they're a lot thicker. And likewise for your rollers, don't buy the absolute cheapest brand rollers. Get like mid-range, because again the rollers, the fibres and fluff will come out and you'll see it on your walls and that. This is a roller finish, so you can probably see that it's kind of rippled effect. And then this other door here has been done with a paintbrush, so you might be able to see that it's slightly different. It's like the lines of a paintbrush. Either one works, but if you're using the paintbrush, there's a special technique and I'll show you that later. Okay, something to be aware of with your roller is that the fibres will go a certain way. They'll either be fluffy or flat. So we've got a bit of paint on here, and you can see when I go one way, the fibres on this have all got really fluffy now, and so the paint on here is a bit chunkier. Whereas if I roll it downways the other way, the roller, now all the fibres are nice and flat, and we've got a much smoother finish on there. So it's fine to roll it on as you go, but then just go over it in the one direction that's going to make it nice and smooth to finish it off. All right, this door I'm going to show you how to paint with a brush. Stuff is to, don't go back and forth, just do, you want to get basically half the door and go in one direction. Right, so then you just do all that, and then you do the rest. Then you can take in from that as it's drying off. Just about finished this first coat on the door. So you can see when you get to the second part, you're going to get some joinage there. But the finer your brush, or the better quality your brush is, the less you're going to see with that join over. And you just always go in that one direction. You can, let's say, you can just like get it on there to start with, but then just roll it off on that one direction. Okay, so we've got the first coat on there. You can see the streaks of the paint. Again, it's a creamy colour behind it, so that's going to come through. You're going to need to do 2 coats. But you can see there, we don't have a lot of marks between where we did the bottom half and the top half. So we've blended that in and we've just kept it all going the one way. These 2 doors are now done, and this is the one that was done with the roller, and you can see it's got that roller texture on it, same as what it was before we painted it. And then this one here was the brush one. So again, it's just, you can just see that it's got the brush strokes on it. It's really just preference as to which one you prefer.